We're 1/3 of the way through this hand reading series right here. Thank you so much for
It's day
joining me
22.
once again.
We're 1/3.
Gotta mute that audio. I always leave that on, really. Maybe it seems like I forget every time, but I leave it on because I want to make sure that the audio is coming through, you know? Got to make sure that's recording. So, anyway, today, day 22 of 66 days. You can see right up top there, both ranges is what we're doing today. So, first off, we have the Poker Tracker 4 open. You can see this is yesterday's hand. Check, call, check, and then a bet call, which is pretty good. But we do want to look for some hands where maybe we're seeing some betting and some raising on both sides, me and the villain, because we're ranging both streets today. So we want to kind of get in there, find some good just find some good action hands so we can do some narrowing of ranges. All this checking kind of stuff is just makes it a little bit less fun to narrow hands, you know. So you can see over here we got a couple of smiley faces. Those are hands that we did previously. And, oh, look at that. Call, call. This is me. I call, then I bet, then I bet. Oh, this seems like it could be a fun hand right here. So let's go ahead and do this one. What's the date? 7/13. Oh, of course. Got to whip out my tools, baby. 878888544. Sweet. Oh, yep, once again, we're in the big blind. BB. Let's see what happens here. Oh, and of course, you know, I got to whip out the other tools too. Of course, we have Flopzilla, the first table for the heroes range up here. The second table is for the villains range, you know, top hero, bottom villain. And to do this properly, you got to have hold EQ open and ready. You can see it's already tied in. Pocket fives right here for the villain. King 6 over here. So, you know, we've got all our tools up and ready. Let's find that table again. There we go. Move this down. There's so much going on the table. I'm sorry if this gets a little confusing, but you know, this is kind of what hand reading practice is all about, you know. So let's get started on this hand here. I don't know exactly who ATGVHG opens. Okay, because we call pre-flop. That's right. ATGVHG decides to open 436 hands. Tight aggressive player. Let's see what they open in the small blind normally. Only 12%. So 3 out of 25 instances is 12%. That's pretty tight. They do not like to play in the small blind. Pretty, you can see that's kind of tight aggressive stats. Oh, we're running the same. Look at that, 21-16, 21-16. Tight aggressive stats, and obviously positionally aware. If we take a look at the rest of the positions, oh, well, they do like to, oh, that's interesting. This player likes to steal from early position. Look at that. But in the MP 15, 19, 20. So for whatever reason, ATGVHG treats early position as a steal position. And sometimes you'll find players who do that. And when you find them, they're the ones that you want to 3-bet. When he is, you know, under the gun and then I'm on the button or in the cutoff, that's when I definitely want to be 3-betting for value, because it doesn't look like he folds that often. But you also want to throw in some decent 3-bet bluffs in there too to get him to fold. Let me see what his fold to 3-bet is here. Raise and a fold from 0 from EP. Oh, only one instance right here. MP 50-25. Yeah, I think so. He's a good one to 3-bet bluff. So we could 3-bet bluff here. But as we saw from that action, he opens and then we just decide to call right there. So let's take a look at his small blind opening range. We can see already, what was that percentage? Small blind 12%. So we will give him kind of a tighter range. Not super tight. Our fold to steal right now is 71%. So we're giving up to a lot of we're giving up to a lot of steals. So he might be going with a slightly wider range. I'm just kind of assuming he sees my stats. I mean, he's a tight aggressive player at 400 hands. He probably uses a HUD. Don't know for sure, you know. So let's look at his raising range first. Then we'll look at our calling range. So as a raising range, let's go with this right here. So as a small blind raise, I definitely like seeing every single pocket pair for sure. The suited connectors. I like every single Broadway, absolutely. I do like all the suited aces as well as the offsuit aces. You're not going to find many players who, in the small blind, when it's folded to them, are just going to fold any of these aces. You're really not going to find many at all. It's occasionally they will, but they see it. Hey, I have ace-6 offsuit. If I have an ace, the big blind likely doesn't have an ace, so I can go ahead and raise. So I've got to give him every ace there. We can actually put him down to, let's give him the 9s. 10-9 offsuit. Let's give him one more offsuit connector. Let's skip all these other offsuit junk. Let's go with, okay, so this is his range right here. 422 combos, 32% of the time. Now, of course, that doesn't jive with his statistic, but we're looking at the situation as a whole, as you can, because it's only 12%. As a whole, you can see that we are, we're folding a lot to steals right now, and he is a loose aggressive player. Maybe he sees us as loose aggressive too, and maybe we'll think that he's got value right here. So I can see it being wide. Let's take a look at a real quick 12% range. If we did put him on a super narrow 12% range, I mean, we're literally looking at this right here. And if you think realistically, is any opponent not going to raise these suited aces? No. Are they not going to raise those? Are they not going to raise these? I can see maybe not raising these ones, but guaranteed they are. So at a minimum, he's got to be raising 18% right here. But of course, this isn't the range we're giving him. We're giving him this range down here. So 32%, 422 combos. Makes sense to me. So BB, call a 3x small blind open from a tag player. So the flop is going to come, whatever it does. Turn will come, river will come, and then we can make some notes. So let's see what our calling range is pre-flop. Obviously, we're not 3-betting, and most likely I would be 3-betting for value right here against this guy. So we can call 2-bet ranges. Let's just start at 22%. Let's just take a look. So what am I 3-betting? I like the 10s for a 3-bet as well. I mean, I'm going to have position no matter what, right? I'm often calling 9s. Like 9s are my cutoff hand quite often. Or as Split Suit calls it, cusp hand, I believe he calls it. I like the calls with these. I will often throw out, not all the time, but I will often throw out semi-bluff 3-bets with the suited aces as well as these 2 or 3 hands. But I don't do it every single time, so I'm not going to take them out of my calling range. I just know that I can 3-bet with them. But I like these for calls. I don't like that as a call. I'm good with calling here in position. I'm good with calling. These would be 3-bets, the ace queens and the ace kings. I like calling here. I'd probably be folding a lot of this stuff here. Just because I have position doesn't mean I want to play a lot of pots against this guy. As you can see, he is a tight aggressive player. C-bet 74, C-bet's the turn 67, so he's a double barreler. Even though I'm in position, I'm most likely facing a double barrel from this guy. Let's see here. C-betting out of position, 76, and then 43%. He's pretty turn honest, so I can get to a lot of turns against him. As soon as he checks, I fire, he'll fold. But I'm good with my range being slightly on the tighter side, and I do like the Jack 8, I do like the 7-5 and the 6-5, the Queen 8, the King 7, and all those aces. Cool. Okay, this is my range, 272, 20.5 combos. Or 20, whatever, 272 combos, 20.5% is what I meant to say. Good, good. So if this is our range pre-flop and his range right down here, Equilab tells us that currently we have a 47% equity in this hand. He's going to win 53% of the time pre-flop without knowing what the without knowing what the flop, turn, and river cards are. So things are looking good. It's definitely a good call. We could, what's something that's interesting, so you see that we're 47%. Let's take out just some of the weakest hands here. If we took those ones out, and maybe some of these, we would be at 49%. So as you remove those weaker hands from your range, you do get a stronger range. If we add these in, if we look at our entire continuance range versus his 2-bet, so we're 3-betting those hands, and we're also calling all those other hands that we already mentioned, we actually have a 53% equity versus his pre-flop range, his pre-flop opening range. So things are looking good right now. And maybe I shouldn't have done that. No, I changed the range. Oh, this is how I can get it back. Copy that. Paste it. Okay it. Bam. Okay, range is back. Good, good. We're all set. So let's see the turn action. Or the flop action, geez. Ace, Queen 8, Heart, Diamond, Diamond. So on this flop, he definitely has a lot more aces in his range. As you can see, he's got all the offsuits and the suited. He has pocket aces for a set, pocket queens for a set. We have the eights. That's the only set we could flop on this board. So currently, his equity went from 53% or so to 57%. So it jumped up a little bit. We do have plenty of suited cards in our range. So we flopped flush draws. We actually flopped, you know, a good ace queen. No, we didn't flop ace queen 2-pair. We flopped queen 8 2-pair. We flopped some decent stuff on this board right here. But let's see what happens. This obviously hits an open raiser's range pretty well, but it does hit our calling range well too. Bets a buck, and we just call a buck. Okay, so first off, let's look at his what decides to bet right here. Given that he c-bets 74% and out of position, it was 70%, 69% of the time. So he does like to c-bet quite a bit. Our stacks right here, I guess I just lost some money, so we started off with $19 or so, and he's got a full stack. So if he wants all of our money, he's going to be betting his good hands here. He's betting sets, he's betting 2-pair, he's betting his top pair hands. Pocket pair below, he bets so much, and he's not going to automatically put us on an ace. I think the pocket pair below top pair is just kings, he'll bet that. Middle pairs as well. Yep, he'll bet all those, and you can see they're all Broadway queens, except for the queen 9, but they're basically all Broadway queens, so he has some kind of backup equity with a queen jack. If he hits a king, he has a gutter. If he hits a 10, he has an open ender. So all of those could be betting here. Weak pair, so that's all third pocket pair, or pair in the 8 for a third pair, or even fourth pocket pair with 7s and below. I'm not going to say all of those are betting, but what I will say is some of them are. So let's remove. It's possible they could, but let's just go ahead and take these out. 8-7 at pair plus a weak kicker. Let's give him one street on those right there, on the third pairs. Let's give him one street betting. And we'll see what happens on the turn, obviously. But yeah, I think he can bet those. So I do want to take out all those weaker stuff from his betting range. No mate hand, no. Flush draws, what are they? Just all those random diamonds, totally betting. Open enders, Jack 10, Jack 10, Jack 10. Oh, because the 8, yeah, 9 or a king. Yep, they're open enders. Gutter balls. I could see gutter balls betting here. And then these combo draws. Good, I think so. What we have him, what his C betting range is 85% of his pre-flop range, which is pretty big. It does make sense though, given this board and the way it is, and just firing one street to try to get us to fold right here. So I think he could be making that. So 85% and 292 combos. Whoops, I forgot that part. The flop was ace of hearts, queen, diamonds, queen, 8 of diamonds. Our range's equity was roughly 43. He had 57%. That was before, you know, I removed hands from his range right there. So our range on the flop, given that we just called his bet, just calling puts 350 in the pot, 17 over 4x behind, 5x behind. Jeez, I think I can call with a set. The only set in my range is 8s, and I could call with the plan on raising or betting big on the turn if I do have a set getting value. I could slow play one street right here. This guy, obviously, just looking at this, likes to c-bet. He likes to double barrel. I can probably count on a turn bet if I have the 8. So I would say that sets are in my calling range. 2 pairs in my calling was ace 8 and king 8, queen 8, yeah. Top pairs, yeah, those are all in my calling range. I don't necessarily have to raise them right here. I could play it kind of cautiously. I was going to say passively. It is passive, just calling. Passively and cautiously, just assessing what's going on, waiting for one more street to really decide what to do. I think I could do that. Don't have any of those middle pairs. I can call middle pairs, totally. Because it is just $1. There's $17 I can win behind, so... weak pairs, what are those? All the various 8s. He c-bets so much, I could call one street. Like I said earlier, he c-bets out of position 76%, but it drops big time to 43. So I think what I could do is I can call actually a pretty wide range just with the intent of stealing on a good turn card when he checks to me. So we'll say middle pairs are calling. Weak pairs, I can call right there. No made hand whatsoever. I think a lot of those I would fold, but some of them have draws, so we'll keep them in. Call, gut shots. I can call with gut shots, especially given that he's turn honest and I have position. 2 cards I can call. Wow, so I'm calling a really wide range right here, 95% of the time. And I do like that because he's so turn honest. Yep. So it's a 95% and 220 combos. So keeping my range pretty wide, like I talked about before. Just calling and checking can keep your range wide. As we saw yesterday, checking kind of capped my opponent's range because he had so much money to win, so much potential money to win. He would have bet with a killer hand, but he had checked, so which means that it took away all those killer hands. That was yesterday's hand. But right now, just calling, I do have everything in my range still because I have position and there's still a turn in a river where I could bet to get money in. So I think that's what's going on here. So on the turn, we get, a Jack of Diamonds. Maybe my flush got completed right here. What does the Jack of Diamonds do? 38% equity. Not great. Our range 38, so he's got 62. A J of D. Good. So what happens? By looking at pre-flop action, he checks, so then we bet, but then he obviously calls. I like it. Just half pot. He bet 2/3 pot. Okay, so I'm betting a smaller sizing, so feels like I want to get value out of the guy. Like I want him to check raise, or I'm just going for thin value. Like I have a weak flush. I have ace jack 2 pair now on kind of a scary board. Like I could just be going for some kind of value, thinking that he can just call with a random ace or a queen here. And he does decide to just call. Okay, so let's look at my betting range first. On this turn, what am I betting? Straight flushes? Absolutely. I've got to get some value out of the guy. Flushes betting straights. I do like betting with the straights for sure on that jack, that turn jack. Yes. Sets. I like betting sets. 2 pair, top pair I like betting. Pocket pair below top pair. Middle pair. I like betting with middle pair. I don't like it as a value bet. I like it as a I guess it could be a value bet actually, like a random diamond could call that my current queen hits. Yeah. So what I was thinking was I like betting with middle pair because I'm getting value out of possible draws and stuff, but he showed weakness right there on the turn by checking. And then so I do just have a middle pair. If I just had like look at that right there, queen 10 offsuit, right? If I had a queen with a 10, not a diamond 10, but like a heart 10, I have no backup draw. I just have the queen. I wouldn't mind betting and taking this pot down right now. So I like middle pair bets because he's turn on his weak pairs. I like the bet too just to try to blow him off of a hand. No made hand. I like betting right here. I like betting everything in this instance. And the reason why is because he's turn honest. Either I'm going for value and it's time to bet to get some value, or I have a hand that I'm not sure about, or just a straight bluff that he can fold. So I think I'm just betting everything in this instance, and I'm down with the bet. Even though he's turn honest. I mean, yeah, that's such a wet board. If I have ace jack 2 pair, I should bet here to charge a random diamond. And if I just have a pair of eights, I should bet to get him to fold everything and just to try to take down this pot now. So it's 100%, same exact range. %, 220 combos still. All right, let's look at his check calling range on this turn. Straight flush, there's no way he's check calling. He's got to check at least min raise to try to get my full $18 stack. I mean, he's got to. Flushes, he's got to be check min raising. Or just check raising big, trying to make it look like a bluff, and I call, and he snatches me with his nut ace king of diamonds flush. Straights, it is a diamond, and my calling preflop could be a diamond. He might be scared. He's not going to fold if he has a straight, but he might be just playing cautiously, trying to get to showdown cheaply in case I have a flush. So I can see him check calling straights. Check calling sets, 8s, Aces. I think sets would have bet again. Wait, would a straight have bet again instead of check? No. Now, they could both. They could both check call. Just playing cautiously because he doesn't have a full house and it's a 3 flush board. And a 3 straight board as well. The 10-9 just hit a... Oh, King 10 hit a straight as well on that Jack of Diamonds on the turn. So, yeah, because for all those issues, I mean, the board got wetter. Yep. So he could just check call. 2 pair, check call, totally. Even the ace queen, the top 2 pair could. The top pair, yep, they can all check call. Pocket pair below, not wanting to give up just yet. Plus having, especially if it was like king of pocket kings with a king of diamonds, he has a flush draw as well as a gut shot for hitting a 10 on the river. Yeah, those can call. Mid pairs now. Queen 9, king queen. They all have a pair plus a draw. I think he could right there at that point. Weak pairs, let's keep them out of the range. No made hand. Nut flushes, totally check calling. Second nut flush, yeah. Third nut flush, what are those? All the random 10 of diamond hands. They also have a gut shot. I think they can check call for this half pot bet. I mean, it is just a half pot bet as well. Weak flush draws, yeah, let's put those in. No flush draw. No, open ender. Open end. Oh, that's all the random 10s. Yeah, all various 10. Yeah, those can do it. Gutters? Yeah, maybe as well. So actually, wow, look at that. Once again, like I said, passivity keeps ranges wide. While it does cap them, he's not at the strongest hands in his range, but passivity keeps them wide. So this is interesting. Put him on that right there. So I'm betting wide because he could be weak and I'm trying to get a bluff, or I got value and I'm trying to go for value. And he's calling wide, but not with his best hands. Gosh darn it, I keep talking so I forget. 93%. All right. River action time, baby. So pot is $7 on the king of clubs. What does that do here? Well, it completes all those random gut shots and open enders. Well, the 10 was an open ender. Any king or a 9 completed it. A 4 flush didn't come in, so that's interesting. Let's see here. Yeah, so king of clubs. So what does it do? 56% for his range has 56% equity on this king of clubs. 56. So we got the 44. Okay, what happens here? Of course, we bet, so he ends up checking. We bet. Oh, what is that? Not even half pot. What am I value betting here? I'm not value betting 2 pair. Am I value betting a set? Am I going for thin value with a set of 8s and maybe willing to fold to anything, to any kind of like check raise shove or something? It could be that. I would say it would be sets or better. Straights could do the thin value bet. Flushes could do the thin value bet. A nut hand, if I had the nut flush here, no way I'm betting only 250. Unless I want him to raise me. I think I'm betting at least half pot again with the nuts. I think this is a thinner value bet, thinking that maybe I have a straight or a weaker flush, and he can call with a 2 pair hand, or I guess a straight is a 10, right? Even if it was a 9-10, like we're chopping the straight. So maybe I'm betting thin with a flush or with a straight, hoping he'll call with a 2 pair or even like a weak ace hand. That's probably what it is. Yep, I'm just going for value, thinking that he doesn't have better than me. Yep. So, oh, no, my range first. I do have the straight flush, which I think I would bet. I think I would bet half pot with that. Just trying to get, just trying to get a little bit more value out of my straight flush. I think so. So let's take that out. I really doubt I have a straight flush. A flush now. Some of those are nut flushes. I really think nut flushes, I'd be betting more. Second nut flush, king 10. I really think I'd be betting more. I don't know, it just feels that way to me. I'd be betting at least half pot. He called a half pot bet on the turn. Why not go for another half pot bet on the river, or even slightly bigger? If he called the turn on that wet board, he's probably calling again for half pot. So I really don't think I don't even think my king high, my second nut flushes are betting. I think I'm betting a smaller amount with these, trying to extract value, going for thin value there. I think that's what I'm doing. Yep, so we'll accept that. Straights, totally betting. I mean, they're all 10, so they're all the Broadway. They're all the nut straights. Sets, I like that for the small bet too. I could bet bigger as well, but it is a wet, scary board. I might thin value bet with a set of 8s, hoping that he calls with ace king, ace queen, ace jack, not with a straight or a flush. 2 pair. Am I checking behind 2 pair? It is an ugly board. I'm probably checking behind. Top pair, I don't think I'm value betting top pair there. I think I'm only, with these hands, if I bet, I think I'm only getting called by better hands. Yeah, I don't think so. No. So I think my betting and the smaller size betting right here really really helped me narrow my range. Uh, 59 combos. That's pretty narrow, man. Starting at, what was it, 272? Yeah, okay, sweet. Oh, previous part, 30%. Sweet. Now, he obviously just checked and called right here. What is he check calling with? Oh, he doesn't have any of those in his range. Straights now. Yeah, on that 3 flush board, totally check calling. Sets. Yeah, I don't see any reason for those to raise. I like them for check calling. If he was going to raise, he was going to raise on a prior street, check raise the turn, and then when his full house doesn't come in on the river, check call the river. So I like those for check calling. 2 pairs, I think they can all check call here. Especially it was only $2.50. I made a smaller bet, specifically to get the 2 pairs to call is my guess. So I probably have a straight or better. I might have a nut 2 pair kind of a thing. Actually, I don't. I would have 3-bet those pre-flop. So ace jack isn't near the nuts. No. Okay. I think you check call. Check call top pair? I think he can. He's played passively. I only bet 250. He might be able to check call a weakish, all those weak top pair hands. But none of those right there. So look at that. Wow. With his passivity, he still has a really wide range against us. He doesn't have any of those nut hands, no flushes or straight flush, but he does have a wide range that we think can pay us off. 224 combos, 94% of his prior range. 220, 224. All right, so let's see if we are correct. We are narrow, he is wide. Jack 10 offsuit for the rivered straight. Queen 10 for the rivered straight as well. All right. So I mean, we had straights in both of our ranges, right? Straight. Yep, he does have the Queen 10 in his range. Awesome. And then we had, what do we have, Jack 10? And we have the Jack 10 in our range. Great. So we successfully narrowed ranges right there. And once again, we saw that, this is pretty interesting. Once again, we saw that checking and calling does keep your range wide, but it also caps your range at the same time. Because obviously, if he wanted my full $14 with a flush, he wasn't going to get it with that. Oh, he would have loved a 9 of diamonds right there. But we didn't have a flush. We would have just given up on that 9 of diamonds. Although we would have hit a straight, we would have paid him off some value right there. But yeah, you could see, like, obviously, and then with my betting right there, my betting allowed us to narrow my range pretty well to more of a value set of hands right there. So awesome. So that's actually, I should make a note of that. That's a good note to make. And I'll get this stuff, the board later. No big deal. Bets raises allow us to narrow range as well, and they keep the best hands in the ranges. Checks, calls keep ranges wide, but cap the ranges at the same time. Cool. So there's some good lessons learned right there. So what we can do with that lesson, I mean, if we want to keep our ranges wide and keep our opponents guessing, we should be checking and calling. And if we don't mind letting our opponents know that we have a strong hand and that our range is actually small, we should be betting and raising. But we could use this to trick our opponent. Bets and raises, of course, equal possibly strong hands. We could be betting and raising, allowing them to put us on those stronger hands, hopefully getting them to fold. Yep. So some good lessons learned right there. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. We are now 1/3 of the way through the 66 days of hand reading. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, send them on in, and I'll catch you on the flip side.